I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Mushoku Tensei. I think it's an OVA. Maybe we were told that it's an OVA.
Slightly under the impression that it is an OVA.
It said thank you for watching at the end of the credits and the after credit last episode, but for some reason I still thought that there were like more episodes.
We were just seeing a number, you know, like, oh, there's another episode right after this one.
I just wanted there to be like a billion more episodes after last one, and I'm upset that this is the last thing we get for a bit for Mushoku Tensei.
In hindsight, last episode did feel like
a great season finale.
You know, and if we obviously are under this, could be false. You know, maybe this is the final episode. I think it's not though.
I'm pretty sure it's an OVA.
Pretty sure it's an OVA. And after last episode ended, I definitely was like, huh.
I liked last episode as a potential season wrap-up, though. I mean, we got where everybody was currently. We have information now where Zenith is and how that could lead potentially to Roxy and Rudy ending up in the same place with the whole labyrinth drop, and that alludes to a previous scene where Roxy's saying that her like dream scenario for finding her soulmate would happen to be in a labyrinth. And
maybe, you know, maybe this is all Man God's doing.
Maybe.
He knew. See, he's really trying to help Rudy out here, but also complicate Rudy's life because there's also like Eris and Sylphie. Man God was like, you know, I'm going to make sure his mom is in a labyrinth, and that I also send Roxy there.
Yeah, maybe.
Because Man God's like, ooh, Roxy's into guys in labyrinths? Yeah.
I guess. I don't see Man God as like the best wingman, potentially. You know, like I feel like Man God's like,
he's a friendship
gonna give
wingman.
the illusion of being a wingman and makes you think he is, but at the end of the day, he's the one getting the girl.
Oh, he's gonna steal the girl from you after, false pretense that he's helping set you up.
The Sylphie thing, I'm still trying to,
got some hair dye.
I'm like, what the fuck? I can't believe we didn't even like...
I remember specifically being like, oh, weird. That character has the same hair shape.
Sylphie's true parents or something. Not Sylphie, but whatever. I think that it was a really good bit of information, though, to give us before a next season, because I don't know. My mind's filled with 1,000 questions. Not one of them being like, oh, what's it gonna be like between Sylphie and Rudy when they meet up again? Surprisingly, most of them are like, how did Sylphie get to be in the position that she is in now? You know, I need to see it.
I'm actually really thankful that for a wrap up of this season, they made sure that all family members we at least know we know where they are, or they're alive. At least the audience does.
Yeah.
By the end of the season, and I appreciate that.
For now.
For now.
You ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. Wonder if it's canon. There are often OVAs that are not.
Millis continent?
Whoa. Taken in by some royalty, right? The tear. Oh? When is this? When Rudy and Paul were having
is this
their...
Millis? Yeah.
Interesting.
I love her hair.
Left ear of each. That's the intro, kid.
Didn't she want to do goblin slaying when they got to... Yeah, okay. Twitching. Look at him, just defeat. Just defeat.
This is not what I expected to get. There's something about his design that's like a little off-putting and feels like he's in like a different universe. I can't put my finger on it.
I have so many question marks about this kid and his personality.
Right?
He's wildly expressive.
Okay.
How are you even gonna get an
Exactly,
ear
you're just gonna
if you
incinerate
burn him
them
to a
all.
crisp? He's so proud of himself. It's literally gonna turn to like ash as soon as she tries to take the left ear.
Didn't understand the assignment.
Just explain to him about the ears.
God, don't you just want to like have Rudy on screen for less than 10 seconds so he can perform an incantationless spell and then this kid just like yeah.
Cool, you can use advanced magic. You have to say the spell, so I'm not impressed.
Temple Knights. Serve the Pope.
There's no way those are the three guys from earlier, right?
Ah. Oh! Holy shit! What are these shots?
Poison.
Oh, did you see that? Oh my god! Woo!
Go on ahead.
Oh.
I'm glad that she sent the horse off to hide.
Look at the horse's hair.
He knows them.
Yeah. So do you think he was raised by the Pope?
He's just following Eris this whole time. Oh my god. They're not taking Eris. Oh no. Eris saying she's a superb just put her into danger. Oh, I hope he wasn't watching a few episodes ago.
Just talking about Rudy. Was that his vision of what Rudy would look like?
Yeah.
Just ignoring the whole smaller than me thing?
He looks so dejected.
I don't know what to expect. Holy shit. What? Okay, that was Mushoku Tensei OVA.
Eris the Goblin Slayer. Are you confused? Are you confused?
No.
No, I am.
Why?
I have lots of questions. Like, why did we get this now? Like, why did we get it? What's with the timing of getting it? Who is this kid? Why is it significant to know what Eris was doing in Millis at that time?
You know what?
What's this whole demon, like, not this Pope child and the and the no letting demons in? And
in my opinion, so I went into this wondering if this was canon or not. I am leaving this with the thought that could totally be off base that this is absolutely canon, and that if you are slated for 23 episodes of a first season of an anime, and you are on the chopping block, that this, unfortunately, would have to be cut from those initial 23 episodes. But to add further context, and then foreshadowing for characters and future interpolitical events going forward, this is the perfect OVA.
You're so right. We did talk about at the end of last episode in our discussion, we brought up like, okay, what is Rudy's path kind of involve now? Is there going to be more of the political workings of this world when we know now where Sylphie is and things of that nature? And you're so right that it's almost like this Eris the Goblin Slayer not shows you that like all of our world is interesting. All of the world that has been created here. There's so many layers, so many different characters and inner workings and drama and politics and other characters that you could like be interested in their motives. I mean, this whole episode, I'm like, what is this kid thinking and why is he doing the things he's doing? And now I feel that even more by the end of it.
This goes to show why I have fallen for this show, because it doesn't let its side characters just be a traditional side character. If they aren't in the episode, it's not because they're out grocery shopping or slaying goblins. There is actual, like, okay, while this character has an incredibly important moment, our main character has it, our other characters are still being utilized in terms of, like, character progression. They're their own living characters who have their own separate journeys that influence their actions going forward. Like, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this episode for Eris and what we already got from her. Because, going into the forest, making that potential mistake, losing your way, because typically you are not the person to keep track of where you are, and that you are reliant on other people. This is all evidence that backs up and explains Eris's decision to leave and become stronger independently and become more useful, and not just somebody who is sitting back and not offering as much as possible.
There's multiple things that happen in this episode that are significant to Eris coming to some awareness of how she might actually view Rudy and how she almost relies on him for so much.
Yeah.
We have obviously just the whole main plot of this OVA or episode of her wanting to go off an adventure by herself, and this kid who is also a mage that, you know, she's using as a compare and contrast, because maybe around the same height, maybe a little shorter than Rudy, mage, strong mage, you know, that she can make some comparisons and also contrast between the two of them, which can help with her awareness. But we also get it partnered with where it actually lines up in the timeline of the main story of what's going on with Rudy and what she does when she reconnects with Rudy at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
It's like to know that she was having this little adventure where she was thinking about all of the reasons why Rudy's the best basically throughout her whole day, and then she gets home and sees him distraught, and then she makes the choices we know she makes in order to try to defend him and use her brute strength. I'm gonna go beat Paul up, but then she ends up realizing what he actually needs is just someone to sit next to him.
But all of Eris's day is just thinking about Rudy, like praising him, whether in her mind or out loud, and like building him up as this, like how strong and great he is.
This
and then
unbreakable, always there, you can always rely on.
And then seeing like how like she cares for him so immensely, and it adds so much for me. Like, it already was such a beautiful moment to see how protective she was of him, but it's just like, it's so fulfilling. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. And like the idea of Cliff Grimoire, Cliff.
Grimoire.
The idea of Cliff.
This Cliff guy.
You know, like, the thought of him knowing exactly who Rudius is and what he's capable of, and him having ammunition and a fire under him now to get to a certain level of experience to potentially try to win over Eris, or at least just be better than this idea of him, when Rudy has no fucking clue who this dude is, right? Eris gave him basically a finish line, just a means to catch up to without even meaning to.
When Rudy first starts his own journey in after Roxy leaves, his goalpost is to get on the same level as Roxy, to be as strong as his master, and then surpass her. And here, I believe it's not as much about Eris to Cliff as it is that he wants to be the strongest mage in order to, if he did fall in love with a girl, he'd get the girl, he'd impress the people, they'd want to team up with him. Like, he wants to be the best, and he wants to reap the rewards of people being impressed with him and in awe of him and being someone can rely on. It's definitely a theme here where he wants Eris not only to be impressed with him, but feel like she can trust him. Like, wow, this really strong, badass girl can also trust me. That means I'm like, and rely on me. And so it's like, it's not as much about, oh, he has this crush on Eris at the end. It's not as much about Eris. It's about like, oh, this is a pretty girl that I think is a badass. Yeah. That I'm like, in this moment, probably have a little bit of a crush on. But there's this goalpost. There's this place to go to be the strongest.
Question. Does this at all concern you for Rudy's family who is here? Like, after the fact, right? Like, we know everybody who's all here now. Imagine walking down the street and you're passing Cliff and you hear, like, being like, oh yeah, and my big brother Rudy saved me. And then he stops in the street and he's like, what was that? Rudius. Like, let me inquire a little bit about him. Oh, he's a saint class? He can use incantationless magic? I have a vendetta and grudge against him. I'm going to imprison your family. I don't know.
See, I can't go there only because of PAX.
Yeah.
I can't go there because they already did that.
I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that it's so... Having this inclusion of a character like Cliff opens up so many doors that weren't open before of just more complex character interactions between these other, like, side characters or characters that are just sparsely given to us.
It's a possible similar route to PAX in some ways, but I think where it diverges is in PAX's intense obsession with the actual specific person of Roxy.
Yeah.
And for Cliff's sake, or Cliff's, intentions and feelings, I almost feel like from that intro we got, he's consistently praised as, in this intro, it's almost like he's praised as being exceptional. And he's always told by everyone that he's exceptional. And being dressed nicely, given all these luxuries. And I think it's, for him, the place that would diverge is like he's more focused on wanting to be as strong as Rudy is, or to be talked about by others in the same way that Rudy is talked about.
Yeah.
So I would think because that would be his motive or intention, no harm would fall upon even maybe Rudy if he met Rudy. It might be like a little bit of like competition of egos, and I want to battle you.
Yeah. But like, I'm trying to, like, he had everything seemingly taken away from him. He had been raised in magic. And imagine if Rudy wasn't in this show. He never got reincarnated. Like, and then Cliff stumbled upon Eris. Like, Cliff would be pretty fucking impressive, right? Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for that preconceived person that is Rudy, an idea of where, like, how amazing somebody that age could be.
I think that's why we get all of these really interesting facial expressions from him, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's described as a brat. like, it's probably from him being raised in an environment where he's consistently maybe isolated from other kids his age, but also, like, told that he is this special person and exceptional talent.
Yeah.
And so he has this, like, it's almost like he wants this gratification. He wants to prove himself to all these people. He wants them to be like, wow, we're so glad we let you come along. He'd be like, haha, I know.
Yeah.
But I think I'm confused by him not jumping into action. The motive and why to, if those were his tutors, the Eris killed. People that are obviously ones that are teaching him and that he is in aligned politically with. Or probably not, because he was taken in as a child, so he might not want to be a part of it, which might answer my own question. Why there does he let Eris save this kid and this temple knight and kill all of his tutors?
Two things. One, I think you did basically answer your own question. We saw in that silhouetted intro him crying while he was being dressed, like, within this. Like, this... He didn't really have a choice in his upbringing and probably isn't too fond of his home and family life in the first place, which led him to try to act like he wasn't somebody of royalty and be acknowledged by somebody else just by his pure innate talent and ability. Also, I believe, and I could totally be off base here, that the way that they structured the story was to show us how capable Rudy was. I think that Cliff saw these people who he identified with, didn't know that they were his tutors, saw them get so easily wiped out by Eris, and then Eris is saying how much stronger Rudy is from her, and then upon the end revelation that it was his tutors, he is now in a position like, my tutors were just beaten by somebody who is praising somebody who's way stronger than them, you know? In my, how I received it.
Yeah, and also this whole, if he doesn't necessarily want to be a part of this, then the thing that might actually have meant the most to him and been the most significant to him is not that Rudius is so incredibly strong according to Eris, or that Eris is so cool and badass and rejected his marriage proposal, but the fact that there is someone out there exceptionally talented, as he views himself and how he's probably been told and grown up, but there's someone out there who not only, like, relies on him and praises him, but there's an affection and a love when they do so and not a using for their own gain.
Yeah.
Which honestly might be what he was more focused on. That
God.
Maybe he wants to be loved for more than, wow, I'm an incredible mage and I can do all this great magic. Can we guess that maybe his parents were killed by the knights?
I think we can,
that's kind of what it looked like.
Doesn't this all lay the foundation for what might or could be one of the most intriguing conversations and character interactions between two characters in this entire show? Like somebody who had their family taken away from them and doesn't know, or potentially doesn't know, what true relationships and love are, coming at and confronting Rudy, who we know is somebody who has had a very hard and complex life, who is just now being gifted with these relationships. Like, imagine the interaction between these two people.
But he is overcoming his own walls that he's created in order to actually appreciate and connect back.
But how Cliff would perceive Rudy is probably so different from how we would perceive Rudy. And how he would perceive Rudy potentially could go down a route of, like, you don't even know how lucky you are. And like that being said to a character like Rudy would be insane to watch play out.
But plot-wise and the narrative of this world, Cliff could be right about possibly being like, you don't know how lucky you are, in terms of, like, where Rudy was born. Say, what would be a blessed child? Why would Cliff have been taken away from his parents? born on the Millis continent as a young child, exceptional at magic, a prodigy. If Rudy had been born there, the fact that he's already surpassed Cliff just by basically teaching himself after, like, Roxy tutored him for a little bit. Yeah. Like, Rudy could have possibly been in Cliff's shoes if he had been born there. If, you know, obviously we don't know the complete lore and narrative, but I think that there are some possible comparisons that we could be making between Cliff and Rudy in a bunch of different areas of their lives. Yeah.
So I got to talk about it before we go.
Okay.
One of my top 3 favorite fighting instances in this entire series is from an OVA. I don't think that's ever happened to me. This is, I think, by far, in the OVAs that I've watched for other anime, my favorite OVA I've ever watched. And the Eris's fight was so fucking cool. There was so much brutality to it in the first place that we don't see too often, right?
Yeah, there was some really graphic things done to this.
And I loved it. And the animation was great. But holy shit, the art direction. I got to, show it because it's just so well done. It right off the bat, I was geeking out and flipping out. So this guy, just flipped his knife in his hand. Dagger. Amazing little animation detail. They're not skipping any frames. Take care. Their daggers are smeared with poison. The run up to Eris here. Ready? Going up to her, Eris turns. Immediately, Eris's pupil becomes the silhouette of the person who is running at her. And then it gets bigger and bigger until it zooms in on that silhouette and then becomes the person so that it can transition to Eris flipping around him. It's so fucking creative. And then just all the flips and the spins. It's so well done. I loved it. It was so good. And
then she just throws the dagger away. I mean, I have to say I haven't really... This is probably one of the most enjoyable glimpses into a side character's lives and what they were doing during the main plot of a story that I probably enjoyed this one more than I've enjoyed any that I've seen.
Yeah. Also, I believe her name is Teresa Latria.
Mm-hmm. Is it because she looks like Zenith? Is that your pause? I don't even have to look at you.
Any relation?
Interesting.
Right?
Interesting.
Maybe. I don't think we ever got a last name for Zenith.
Interesting.
Maybe?
Maybe. I'm trying to remember now where Zenith's family's from. Did Paul go to Millis because that's where Zenith's family's from? Now I wish I remembered what he said in his letter of where to tell Rudy to go.
Where was that?
Back when the Roxy walks up and meets the Fangs of Black Wolf, the other 2 members, I think they talk about what Paul said in his letter on the bulletin board of where he was going to go and why. Possibly, but I feel like I almost remember Paul saying he was going to check up on where Lilia or Zenith's families were. Yeah. Or told Rudy to do so.
In Zenith's homeland.
Mm-hmm. Zenith's homeland.
I'm going to the Millis continent in Zenith's homeland.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So?
I mean, other than...
I'll leave a message with Lilia's family as well. What do you think, though? It's a possibility.
I think your love and your desire, I think it's right on the money. I think your intuition's right here.
Yeah.
I think because you know Zenith, that you are correct.
It's just
yeah, I know. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's your gut. Your gut's telling you.
It's my heart.
Trust in your heart.
I love this show. I love this OVA. This is so good.
This was good. It was very good.
Best OVA I've ever seen.
I mean, I love Eris, so... And I also just love that, Ruijerd literally did nothing. He just followed her. There were children getting attacked each, 2 times in this episode. And Ruijerd just let Eris, handle
Best
it.
teacher.
And, we didn't talk about it, but us having this and seeing him following her around and his reaction and his not stepping in makes it feel so much better of why he felt so confident that he could leave Eris and Rudy at that time and that they like didn't need him hovering.
It's so enriching.
Yes.
It's
and then to know that like a bit after this is when he told her that she had already become a warrior.
It's amazing. Great.
I mean, this was probably one of his main examples of the fact, if he was there watching this.
Yeah. This OVA was not what I expected, and I am a much happier person because of it. I am glad that we got to see this. Alright, that's all I have you.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.